What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today I just wanted to do a quick comparison video to really kind of hammer home that sometimes you get what you pay for and maybe sometimes you don't. Today we're going to be comparing the Canik TP9 SFX versus the 509 LS Edge long slide. Really is the battle of these super long names. But before we get to that, we're going to thank my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys very much. Because of you guys, I could afford both of these guns. I bought both of these guns with Patreon dollars, so I really appreciate your support. If you want to get in on that, all you got to do is go down to the link in the description and sign up. Also in the link in the description is a local shelter named Iowa. I would really appreciate if you click that link and donate to those kids. Now, we'll get back to this comparison real quick, and I wanted to talk about these two because while I was doing the FN 509 long slide 1000 round review, I realized that it had some striking similarities to another gun that I've reviewed like 6 months ago or so, except with one major difference, which we'll get to here in a second. Now, if you look at these two, you can see that they're pretty similar, and they look like they've been made for very similar circumstances. So let's go through some of the specs here real quick, and then I'll tell you what I like about this one and what I like about this one, and then kind of my overall pick. So first, we'll go to the Canik SFX Elite here. Now, as you can see here, this is obviously missing an optic. I actually stole the SRO off this just recently to do my Staccato P video, but this is a 5-inch striker-fired pistol with a tungsten slide with some lightning cuts and some cool front slide serrations. In the box, it comes with tons of optics mounts, including the one for the RMR or SRO, which is a really nice value. Picatinny rail. It's got a little bit of a cut up front there. It makes it look pretty mean. And it does come with a fiber optic front sight and then a blacked out rear sight. However, you're not able to use that sight with the optics mount, which is kind of a con. It does have a loaded chamber indicator there as well, or a striker indicator, sorry about that. And then it has your takedown levers here with an extended slide release and an extended magazine release. Has a really good trigger out of the box, which we'll get to more in a minute, and it's got some texture here for you to put your thumb if you do that particular technique, which I happen to, so I like that. Adjustable back straps, good texture on both sides, front and rear, very similar to the FN as a matter of fact. And then it comes with two 20-round magazines out of the box, which I think is pretty sweet. Now we'll get to the FN here, and you'll see some very familiar characteristics. We have fiber optic front with a blacked out rear, although these are raised for use with the optic, which is nice because you can actually co-witness these because you actually do have a rear sight. Now, do you need a rear sight to run your iron sights through a dead optic? You absolutely do not. There's a lot of techniques to use the optic window as kind of a ghost ring. Honestly, you don't even really need sights if you have enough training within 10 yards unless you're taking a precision shot. However, it is nice to have. It's got some big old lightning cuts there. It's got a Browning high power cut there, and then it's got the little cut off the front as well with, again, a very cool looking tungsten Cerakote job, which is a similar color to the Canik, but you can see that the FN is shinier, and it does look a little bit better. Got an improved takedown lever over the Canik, also a custom-ish trigger, which we'll get to in a minute. Extended controls, except this one is ambi. So as you can see, if you're a left-hander, the FN is going to be better for you right off the bat. However, both magazine releases on both guns are swappable. But this one does come with a little better magazine release, in my opinion, and it does have a scallop cut. Going down to the texture, you see both of them kind of had the same idea. However, I think the FN did it a little bit better. More aggressive on the sides and very similar on the front and rear. However, I think the back straps on the Canik are a little bit better. Now, the FN does come with a magwell installed, which allows the grip to be a little bit longer, which I also like. However, you can get magwells for the Canik also, but they don't function as well as the one from the FN. The FN comes with 3 17-round magazines, which is one more bag, but they are a little bit less capacity, so you weigh whether or not that's important to you. The Canik mags, if you want to get 3, I think it's like 30 bucks, 25 or 30 bucks for one of those. So for 25 extra bucks, you could have 3 mags that have more capacity. Now, the big difference in the optics mounting system, I think, is going to be the durability on the FN. FN has a really bomb-proof optics mounting system that allows you to have a lot of confidence that your optic is not going to lose zero. And on top of that, you do have better backup iron sights. So in my opinion, as far as sighting systems go, the FN is the clear winner. Both of these guns are designed for sort of competition slash duty. The 5-inch slide allows for more accuracy with iron sights, and it does allow for more velocity for better bullet expansion and hitting power, which is really nice. If you've looked at a lot of ballistic tests, if you get in the area of a 5-inch barrel, you get a lot of good expansion on that 9mm, and you can get a significantly better wound channel. So a 5-inch gun, it does definitely have a benefit, not only hitting power, but accuracy as well, at least with the iron sights. Barrels can be a little bit more accurate, but in all fairness, a better shooter with a 4-inch is going to outshoot a guy with a 5-inch. So it's not that big of a difference. As far as barrels go, though, the FN is cold hammer forged, and I don't think the Canik is. As you can see, the Picatinny rails are very similar. And now let's go ahead and get into the trigger real quick, which I think is one of the biggest differences between the two guns. The FN does not have a good trigger. Let's be clear about that. It was hyped up a lot. I've seen a lot of people talk about it because it's flat-faced and it breaks at 90 degrees. Well, that doesn't mean anything if it's 14 pounds. It's not 14 pounds, but it's around 7 or 8 pounds, and you can definitely feel it the whole way through. We'll ghost it for you real quick, and you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. You can see here kind of a creepy break. Way too much pressure. I mean, you're talking about somewhere between 7 and 10 pounds. And it doesn't have an overly good reset either. And that is not fresh out of the box. I've done 1,000 rounds for this gun, so it should have smoothed out by now if it ever was going to. Now you got a pre-cocked striker on the Canik because it's basically a Turkish P99 clone. And if they're going to copy any gun, that's not a bad gun to copy because holy crap, look at this trigger. Wow. I mean, that's really impressive. It certainly is creepy, and it breaks a little further to the rear. So if you like that 90-degree break, and that is really important to you, I like it, but I only like it if it's light, smooth, and crisp. And the Canik is not only have a faster reset, but it has a much smoother, lighter trigger, allowing you to get a lot more accuracy out of this. So even though you have a cold hammer forged barrel on this, it doesn't mean anything if you can't operate the gun well. And the interface with you and the gun is actually more important most of the time than mechanical accuracy. So in my opinion, the Canik is significantly more accurate. We've actually proved that. I've took new shooters and myself out, and we've shot the 509, and I've also taken new shooters out with the Canik because this is one of the main guns I teach new shooters with because it's just so easy to shoot and it's cheap, so if they break it, I don't care. But the Canik is just easy to get accuracy out of, and the FN 509, for what it is, certainly is not. And we'll get into reliability here. I did a 1,000-round test with each one of these guns. However, I've got about 15 to 1,700 rounds personally through the Canik, and then it's got another couple hundred from people after that. So a little over 2,000 rounds with the Canik, and I think we've had 1 or 2 failures. And at that point, you can kind of attribute it to ammunition, especially during 2021, where ammunition is not quite as high quality as it once was. We also had some reliability issues, 1 or 2 with this, and we had some limp wristing issues with my wife with this, which she doesn't, I mean, she's a pretty good shooter. If you've ever seen my wife shoot, she normally doesn't have those issues. She's got really good recoil control, so you got to have a whole lot of pressure on this, especially when it gets dirty, or you are going to have some issues. So overall, I'd give reliability a wash, but an advantage in accuracy to the Canik. Now, as far as ergonomics and features, it's hard to argue that they're a little better on the 509, but in function and actual use, I don't think you're going to notice a difference at all. I mean, you have same color, same slide cuts, basically, better trigger, better grip over here. It's so similar that I don't think you're going to notice too much of a difference, other than maybe WROL, shit hit the fan type situation. Maybe you'd want to err on the side of the suppressor height iron sights and the better optics mounting system. Although if you're running iron sights, standard iron sights, the Canik runs just fine, and I never had any reliability issues or durability issues with the optics mounting system, but I've heard that it can happen. So as far as ergonomics go, I'd have to give that kind of a wash as well. So far, the Canik is slightly ahead. Now, here's where things tip a little bit. Here's where the boat tips over for the 509. The 509 is, the MSRP on this guy is $1,500, and good luck finding that right now for around $1,500. You might be able to, but they're closer to 17, somewhere in there. The MSRP on the Canik SFX, $500. 1/3 the price over here for this guy. And in my opinion, if I had to pick one of these to shoot a competition with, I would have already went with the Canik, just simply because I'm such a trigger snob, and I just shoot the Canik faster and more accurate. Now, these guns kind of home defense, duty, competition, maybe faster and accurate isn't your only category, but I have the same reliability with both of these guns as well. So for home defense, I mean, what's the difference really? 2 malfunctions out of 1,000, 2 malfunctions out of 1,000, 2,000-ish. The reliability isn't enough for me to weigh it. So as far as speed and accuracy efficiency, and of course price, I think the Canik is a significantly better gun. I can't believe I'm going to say that, but I just don't believe I would choose the FN over the Canik, and for the Canik being 1/3 the price, I just think it's the clear and obvious winner, kind of regardless of who you are. Now, the Canik is made in Turkey, and I understand why a lot of people don't like that, don't buy them, don't want to support their products. I get that. If you're looking for a budget gun that shoots like a dream, though, it kind of really is in a league of its own. Cheaper than the PPQ Match, cheaper than the VP9L, and in my opinion, functions the same with probably better accessories. Now, a good option other than these two is going to be like the Walther PDP. I think it shoots very similar, if not a little better than the Canik, and then you don't have to worry about the Turkish-made guns. Now, the FN, I'd like to say buy this, buy American, but I actually don't know if this is made in American. I did look up to try to find out whether it was or not, and there was no information either way. And usually when they go out of their way to make guns in America, they plaster it all over their website. So I'm going to argue that there really is no discernible advantage for me to tell you that the 509 is a better gun. And honestly, I'm not real sure where the money went. I mean, if Canik can make this gun for $500 and some dollars, or sorry, they probably made it for like $200 selling it for $500. I'm not sure where the $1,500 in the FN went. And you could say, well, they use better quality parts, but HK uses pretty good quality parts as well, and their 5-inch long slide version of the VP9 is only like $800. So in my opinion, if this gun came in at $500-600, well then yeah, I could definitely see getting into the 509. But for $1,500, I just personally don't see a point to the gun. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.